Welcome to Easy Vegetarian. Today on our show we're going to cook up a delicious and hearty 3-bean chili along with some cinnamon rolls to end the evening on a sweet note. I'm Laura Bernero.
I'm Chloe Eckberg. Stay tuned, you're watching Easy Vegetarian.
Welcome to Easy Vegetarian, a show that is all about keeping you on track as you tackle a vegetarian diet the healthy way. Today we're going to take on a 3-bean chili and then make some 3-cheese quesadillas that will go along nicely with that main dish. And then we're going to top off our show with some delicious homemade cinnamon rolls, which I have never tried, so that will be fun.
They're gonna be great. I just have a feeling. So, to start off with our 3-bean chili, we are going to heat our olive oil in our large saucepan over here, which is basically just this pot, okay? And it is going to be, it says 2 teaspoons, but you could just measure it out. Usually a teaspoon is gonna be like a dollar, half a dollar in size, so.
Into the saucepan we're going to add our garlic, onion, and bell pepper. So while Chloe's heating up the olive oil, I'm going to start cutting up our bell pepper. The recipe calls for half a cup of chopped fresh bell pepper, but you can adjust it to your taste if you want more or less. Same goes for onion and garlic.
We're going to skip the onion, so we're just going to go for the garlic. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic. I'm gonna put that in there. And get these out of your way.
Thank you.
Just throw them in there. Turn on the oven to about, the stovetop to about 7 or 8. It just depends on how fast you're gonna cook it.
I love working with green peppers because they're so colorful. They're always hard to cut. Thank you.
You're welcome. Throw them in there.
So after we add our garlic and peppers, you are supposed to let them saute for about 3 minutes in the olive oil.
And you can tell that when the garlic is finished when you can smell it, and it's really pungent.
Really
it
strong.
Smells really good. So
making chili always reminds me of Super Bowl Sunday or big family events where you have to host a lot of people. Because our recipe probably makes about 4, 5, 6 servings, but you could obviously double or triple this recipe if you're making chili for a big crowd. Or sometimes they'll do fundraisers where you have to bring chili. So if you brought your vegetarian chili, then you would be helping out the people that don't eat meat.
And there's a sizzling. It's going down.
Sizzling.
And there's going to be a few of these seeds in here, so it'll make it a little more spicier than it usually is, but that is great because chili is supposed to be spicy, right?
Oh yeah.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
we got these in here sauteing. It's going to be great. It's going to be so delicious. Yeah.
So this recipe calls for a can of black beans, a can of chickpeas, a can of kidney beans, a can of tomatoes. And so we're going to add all of these to this vegetable mix, as well as some tomato puree, cumin, and black pepper.
And you definitely, you want to rinse these guys. And my dad told me that if you rinse them, it'll get it really nice, so it's not so slimy. Because the beans, when they're in the can, they're always really slimy.
They will be.
So we're gonna get this little strainer, and if you have a strainer at home, you can get that. But just throw the beans in there. And then rinse them off. really lightly. And that should be good for that. Stir up this for a little bit.
When we add our vegetables, we're going to also add a 3/4 cup of water. So I'll go ahead and put that in there so we can start adding the veggies.
Okay, I'm gonna put the beans in this right here.
Okay, got a little bit of water in there. These also will make the recipe really colorful.
Oh, put them over here. Just mix the beans together. It doesn't really matter if they're separate. Yum. I love chickpeas as hummus.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Hummus would actually be good to go along with this recipe.
It would. It really would. Okay. This is gonna simmer a little bit so we can get a little of the green peppers to be soft than they usually are because we want them to have a little crunch but to be more soft.
To this pan, we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. This reminds me of pizza sauce, really thick pizza sauce. There we go. Woo.
All right. I'm going to add the tomatoes to the mixture of the green peppers and the garlic.
Great color.
And it might need a little salt just in case. It just depends on what the taste is for it.
Are we ready to add these, do you think?
We're ready.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're gonna add a tablespoon of cornmeal after all that stuff is simmers for a little bit. So I'm just gonna get it all ready and we'll have it done for you.
The green peppers look really good after they sauteed them.
Oh wow, it looks great.
Now that our vegetables are stewing together, we also need to add a little bit of vegetable broth. So the recipe calls for 1 can of organic vegetable broth, so we're going to measure out about a cup or 2.
Yeah, probably about 1.5 cups will be fine. This is a 1/2 cup, so I'm gonna put 2 or 3 in there, and it should look great.
And then our final spices that we're going to add to the chili are chili powder and ground cumin. You could also adjust the spices depending on how hot that you like your chili, or if you like basil or oregano in your chili, you could add those too. That would also be really good. And the recipe calls for a teaspoon of each of these. So we'll go ahead and add these to the mix. It smells good.
It does. It's gonna be so great. It has all these. Ooh yeah. Whoa. The flavor is just.
Ooh, you can smell
the flavor.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the recipe says to allow the vegetables to simmer for a few minutes, and finally add 1 tablespoon of cornmeal.
The cornmeal will kind of like, it'll like thicken it up a little bit. Yeah. That way it'll be more hearty.
That
Gives it a special kick to it. And yeah, this smells so good. It smells like I'm in Mexico. It's gonna be great. I have a feeling.
All right. Well, while our chili simmers, we have to leave it on the stovetop for a little while. So we're going to take a break here in a little bit. But before we do that, we want to take a look at Recipe Talk, which is our first Recipe Talk of the episode. Recipe Talk is all about sharing recipes from friends, family, and coworkers through a blog. And our first Recipe Talk for today is fontal polenta with mushroom sauté. For this recipe, you'll need olive oil, vegetable broth, cremini mushrooms, fennel cheese, and a mushroom blend that's finely chopped.
For the rest of this recipe, make sure to check it out on easyvegetarian.com. or .wordpress.com, excuse me, and click on the recipes tab. We're gonna go ahead and send things to a break, and when we get back, we'll get started on that quesadilla. And so please stay tuned. You're watching Easy Vegetarian. Welcome back to Easy Vegetarian. We are now going to make some quick yet delicious 3 cheese quesadillas that you could snack on before your chili is completed, or you can save and eat while you're eating your chili. So we're gonna go ahead and begin the preparation of the quesadillas. All right, so we have Munster cheese, Hearty cheese, and we have these really good mozzarella pearls. They're just little balls of mozzarella, and you can put them on the quesadilla as is, and they're so good just by themselves anyway. You don't even need to put them on a quesadilla. Oh, this is the chili. The chili is good.
Oh, perfect.
Good. Awesome. So for the Munster and the Hearty, we're gonna shred them up, and we're also, while Laura is going to do that, we are going to take these tortillas. They're wheat tortillas, but you can have whatever kind you'd like, corn, flour, and we're going to use a skillet to cook them. Make them all nice and soft. The skillet is over here. I put it on low, so it kind of gets heated a little bit, and I'm going to turn it up a little bit to probably 5. Just put them on there, let them cook for a little bit. And while those are cooking, I am going to get another one of these guys out and take these apart.
Quesadillas are a great thing to make for kids, so if your kids are picky about what kind of chili they will eat, you can always make them quesadillas.
This mozzarella, I mean, it's so easy to use too, because you just tear it apart. It looks
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I always make, during the summertime is my favorite meal. I always make these mozzarella pearls with freshly cut tomatoes, basil, and some balsamic vinaigrette, and it makes a really good salad or a snack.
Yeah.
It's so good.
In your quesadillas, you could also put a little bit of salsa, corn, beans, refried beans, kind of to mix it up, make them fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, shredded lots of cheese here. There we go. These 2 cheeses together, I think, are going to be really good.
All right.
Okay.
This is about a little heated up, so we're going to put these onto it. Just spread them out evenly.
I like the color of these cheeses too.
Yes. The red of the Munster.
Yeah,
Munster's really good with grilled cheese.
Yeah, all of these would be good in a grilled cheese too. Grilled cheese is one of my favorite vegetarian foods too. It's plain and simple. Whew, look at this, it's gonna be cheese loaded. That's great though. And by making your quesadilla on a skillet like this, you can control how brown it gets on the top, which is really good.
Okay, sounds good. All right, put this on here. Let it cook for a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper just to give it a little more flavor. You don't have to do this, but it's like more flavor than usual. Just a little pinch of salt. And then let that melt a little bit. Make it get all delicious. Okay, I'm gonna check on the chili.
Ooh, it smells so good.
It does. And these tomatoes in here, they're all floating to the top, and the beans are all good.
It smells perfect.
Yeah, it does. Wonderful. All right.
This is a warm and hearty meal that you can make in the wintertime. Or I always think of football season when I think of chili. So while we're finishing up our quesadilla and letting our chili simmer a little bit more, we're going to take a look at our second recipe talk session of today's show. The second Recipe Talk recipe is grilled corn salad with black beans and rice. Some of the key ingredients you will want to make sure you have are brown rice, black beans, a few ears of corn, avocado, hot tomato salsa, a few red and green peppers, and some orange and lime juices. Or citrus juice always brings out the flavor in salads like that. For the rest of this recipe, go to easyvegetarian.wordpress.com, our blog where you can find all the recipes that you've seen on the show, and click on the recipes tab and scroll through for that recipe as well as several others. We'll go ahead and take another quick break while these are finishing up. Coming up next are our homemade cinnamon rolls, which I'm very excited to try.
Me too. Stay with us. Welcome back to Easy Vegetarian. We're finishing up our recipes today with some warm and wonderfully hearty cinnamon rolls. They're going to be so great.
So I'm going to start us out by making the filling for your cinnamon rolls. You actually start out by putting these in the bottom of a 9 by 9 inch baking dish, which is where you will put all of your rolls once they're done. So I'm going to spray this with some Pam. While I make the filling, Chloe is going to start on our dry ingredients for the dough. So for the filling, first you'll need 4 tablespoons of butter.
And this, for the dough, you will need flour, sugar, baking soda or baking powder, excuse me, salt, and a cup of milk.
Next to the filling, I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, which gives you your cinnamon rolls. Smells awesome.
Okay.
And finally, for the filling, you need a cup of brown sugar.
Two tablespoons of sugar for this. For the dough, you're going to need 4 teaspoons of baking powder. You're going to mix all the dry ingredients together.
Okay. So packed down, I've got about a cup of brown sugar. So after I combine the brown sugar, butter, and cinnamon together, I'm gonna put a little bit of it in the bottom of this baking dish, so that your rolls soak up some of this filling. And then the remainder of it, we're going to roll into our cinnamon roll dough, so that they are on the inside as well. This smells so good with brown sugar and cinnamon.
All right. Mixing up these dry ingredients are almost finished. And I'm putting a ton of teaspoons in here because I have a 4th teaspoon. So I promise you, I'm not doing it wrong.
All right, so when your filling is done, it looks like a paste like this. And so the recipe calls for about half of this mixture to go in the bottom of the pan. Looks almost like cookie dough to me.
Whoa. It's going to be all glazy and delicious. Okay.
So we're going to line the bottom of our pan this way.
For the dry ingredients mixture, you're just going to mix all of it together so it's all like this. And then we're going to add butter, 3 tablespoons of butter. And for this, you just mix it with your hands.
Getting
Take
dirty.
these rings off.
We have our cut up quesadillas from earlier. We'll get these out of the way. Our next step is to cover our countertop with flour so we can get ready to roll out the dough when it's ready to go.
need some more butter. Right. And for the dry ingredients, I am going to just put the butter in there, just like that, and just mix it with my hands. So it gets kind of clumpy almost. It's sticking to my hands. Okay. This is the last tablespoon of butter. And it's gonna look like this. Laura, would you be so kind and pour me some milk?
Sure.
Thank you. You're gonna need 3/4 cup of milk for the dough.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Ooh.
It reminds me of playing with dough in elementary school. It looks delicious.
Look at that. Just mix it all together with your fingers. Don't be afraid to get dirty.
Add a little bit more flour to our countertop here.
And you want the dough to be sticky.
Perfect.
We're gonna add a bit more flour because it's a little too sticky because it's sticking to my hands and I can't get it off. So perfect. And just mix it all like that. It's about finished. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
You know, I can just make a little ball with it, and then we're gonna roll it out into a rectangle so we can make these cinnamon rolls.
Since your hands are all doughy, do you want to go ahead and roll it out?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I will start on the glaze that goes over the top of your cinnamon rolls. The glaze is really simple. All you need is a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and a 1/4 cup of milk. So I'm going to make it up in another bowl.
And for this, since we don't have a rolling pin, we're going to use our hands because we're college students and we can't afford rolling pins. So,
As long as you get it into the right shape, you're good.
yep, it doesn't have to be a perfect rectangle. It can just be, it just has to be flat enough so that it can roll out perfectly into a cinnamon roll.
All right, so 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and 1/4 cup of milk. Mix this together. And you can smell this too. And add a bit more powdered sugar to the mix to make it a little thicker.
All right. So with this dough, I'm gonna roll it up.
Oh, don't forget to add a little bit of filling about halfway through.
I'm just gonna roll the edges over here so I can get a start on it. And then I'm going to add the filling over it. Kind of try and spread it evenly on the dough so
It
that,
smells really good.
yeah, it does, so that you can have an even coating. Can I please get under you so I can
Yeah, sure.
get a spatula? You can get a spatula, spread it around. And this is gonna be really, really good because it'll be brown sugary and very flavorful.
we've preheated our oven to 400 degrees for the cinnamon rolls. And this is what the glaze looks like when it's all finished. A little runny, but that means it'll be able to soak into the dough after we roll up our cinnamon rolls. Have you ever made homemade cinnamon rolls before?
You know, I haven't. I have made the store-bought frozen kind.
Me too. I've always wanted to try homemade, so this will be fun. You could add nuts to these. Like walnuts would be really good in here.
My grandma, she always adds raisins, and my cousins ate it.
You could add stuff to the glaze too, like you could put some nuts or just over the top in the glaze. Or have you ever had like the orange flavored cinnamon rolls?
Yes, those are my favorite.
You could add some orange zest to your glaze.
That would be so good.
Into your dough. That would be really good.
And what me and my dad do, we let these rise overnight, like the dough rise, so that it'll be really fluffy. And it is so good.
Oh, perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
It's so good. Okay.
All right.
Get a knife and cut these.
Yeah. Oh, your hands are all doughy.
All right, we don't need this part of it, so we can just put that somewhere.
Oh, look at that.
And when they rise, they will just easily shape into these little circles. So cut these however big you like. They can be super thick, they could be pretty thin, however you like. It's just your preference. All right, look at that. It's gonna be good. Look at those lovely guys. Little babes of cinnamon rolls.
So this recipe makes about 9 cinnamon rolls. You could double it if you are having additional company, but the 9 fit almost perfectly into our 9x9 inch pan. And our final step is to add the glaze.
I'll have this one. Can measure.
But we will go ahead and do that after the rolls have been in the oven.
Look at that. Oh, that's great.
So our oven's at 400 degrees and we're gonna stick these in for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so we have finished up our dessert segment of today's episode. We're gonna go ahead and let these rolls cook for a while and then show you our final plate of everything together. All right, all of our recipes for today are out of the oven and ready to taste. For our main dish today, we made 3 bean chili and 3 cheese quesadillas.
And for dessert, we have made our Hearty cinnamon rolls, and they look fantastic. They're nice and warm, sticky, gooey, great. And so we're gonna put the glaze on top of them, and we're gonna enjoy.
They smell really good too.
They do. Look at it, it's just like falling apart. What is this? Oh, this is great.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, ready?
Ready.
Okay.
What do you want to try?
I'll try this.
Okay.
It is so good.
These two.
This is really cinnamony and really great.
I'm gonna try this
That
too.
is all I can describe it. It warms my belly. Isn't it good? It's so
Oh
good.
yeah, those are really good.
It'd be good with orange glaze too. Did you try the chili yet?
Mm-mm.
Should try it. Looks good. How is it?
It's awesome.
Oh, great.
Oh, so good. It's just a complete meal. It's so good. Next week on Easy Vegetarian, we will take a look at quick and simple meals for those days you are hungry and need a quick recipe to make before your plans that night. We'll talk about a black bean quesadilla, the ultimate grilled cheese sandwich, which I'm looking forward to, orzo salad with chickpeas, and artichoke hearts.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. For more recipes and information on the show, check out easyvegetarian.wordpress.com. See you later.